Well, hello from Paris. It is opening ceremony day of the 2024 Olympic Games. We have finally reached the official starting point of these games. I'm Sinead Kassan and I'm joined by my colleagues Sean McGoldrick and Cathal Dennehy. Well, lads, obviously the Irish men's rugby sevens team got the whole thing underway for Team Ireland and they were beaten last night by Fiji at the Stade de France. But what are your initial impressions?
Well, obviously France is a beautiful city. So it's probably a natural home for the Olympics 100 years after it was staged here. But I probably get the impression that it's not quite ready. You know, there's a lot of 11-hour licks and bits and pieces to be done. But that's generally the story in any host Olympic city. So I'd say once the opening ceremony is over with and the competition starts, everything will fall into place.
Yeah, what do you reckon, Cathal? What are your impressions?
Yeah, I've been impressed. It's only been 2 days, so it's still early days. But I mean, the volunteers, everyone was super helpful that I interacted with. There was kind of a London 2012 vibes about the place, a good atmosphere around the city. And the security, just been up at the Stade de France, like, you know, you do have the men with guns every 30 meters kind of throwing eyes over the crowd, so you can feel it, but like it's also not a cold atmosphere. They're interacting with fans, they're smiling, they're laughing. And you know, the security lines getting into the stadium so far, for me anyway, haven't been too bad. Like, it's just been a quick 2-minute thing through an airport scanner and a wave down with a metal detector. So I think that was one thing that I thought maybe that will kill the vibe of the games a bit if security is too strong, but it just seems more reassuring than overbearing.
It definitely does. I have noticed that as well, actually. And obviously it's the opening ceremony now tonight. Now, we are recording this before the announcement of the 2 flag bearers for Ireland. So that's going to be announced later today on Friday. But of course, we know how different this opening ceremony is going to be. It's the first one that's going to take place outside a stadium. It's going to be on the Seine, a flotilla of boats. Very, very ambitious by the Parisian organisers, isn't it?
Yeah, if you were in the current era, if you're trying to give yourself a security headache, you would probably sail 94 boats down the Seine with about 7,000 athletes. It is going to be a big operation, but obviously they have limited access to 300,000 fans. It's going to be very tight getting into that area to get within any eye line, I guess, of the Seine this evening. And yeah, I guess it's novel. The French like to always do things differently. They like to be creative, and this is going to be a very, very different opening ceremony.
Yeah.
I'd say they'd be relieved when it's over.
Yeah. So are we expecting anything new, anything different, Sean?
Oh, I'd say it'll definitely be new. I mean,
As in any surprises or...
Yes, there's rumours that Celine Dion has been seen in Paris and that she will make
One of your personal favourites?
Yes, she will make her comeback tonight. So I'm sure there will be surprises. There are always surprises, and the director has been very coy about giving away any details. So it should be, it should be a fascinating. It's actually started at the actual ceremony. It started at 2024 French time. So everything is set in motion. There's something like 45,000 police on duty.
Yeah, wow.
So they obviously have to be conscious of
course,
of the security risks. But it'll be a big occasion for the 2 Irish flag bearers when we finally find out who they are.
When we find out later today. Now, obviously, so much talk about medals, you know, how many Ireland are going to win. And look, this is the time to have that bit of hope, isn't it, as well? But like, it does make me very, very nervous. And Sean, you had this piece on independent.ie a few days ago about the latest virtual medal table compiled by Nielsen's Grace Note. So Ireland are projected to win just the 10 medals, just the 10.
The prediction has been gone up. They started off at 7, and it was 9 in about 6 weeks ago, and it's 10 now. So I think...
So that would be a record for Ireland, because obviously our number is 6. But really, how realistic is this?
I think as you get older, you get less optimistic, to be honest. You lose your youthful enthusiasm and you get more realistic. But probably this is the strongest ever Irish team, and we have genuine medal hopes in a lot of sports. You like starting off the obvious ones, like we have 2 defending Olympic champions. So particularly the 2 rowers, Donovan and McCarthy, they would be, I think, they're red hot favourites to win it. And I think it would be of special significance for them, because this is lightweight rowing has been eliminated basically from
Olympics,
so this is the final Olympics. So I think they would want to put their name down as the last Olympic double scull lightweight champions.
Yeah.
And then Kelly Harrington is defending her lightweight crown. It's very, very difficult in boxing to do what she's attempting to do. We've seen what happened to Katie Taylor in 2016, but she got a decent draw last night. So we'll see how it goes. But across lots of sports, we have medal hopes.
Yeah, so you're the youngest of the three of us, Carl. So bring us your kind of youthful enthusiasm and confidence and optimism.
Yeah, whatever about youth. I'm not so young anymore. But I think just even looking at this objectively, I think it's definitely going to be a record medal haul. I think it would have to be a series of unfortunate events to be less than 6 medals somehow. I think it's going to be at least 6. I think it could be as many as 11. But I think realistically, I think 8 or 9 is the number I'm kind of settling on at the moment. Obviously, one of them went to begging last night in the rugby sevens. And again, you saw there the fine margins in that quarterfinal, which obviously, or in that final group game, which led to the more difficult quarterfinal for Ireland. So I think though, yeah, I mean, I'm looking at maybe 2 or 3 in boxing. Sean will know better than me there, but I think that's very realistic, especially given the draws. Could even be more. Could be 2 or 3 in rowing. And then like Sir Reece McLennigan, Daniel Whiffen has a couple of brilliant chances. Rashida Adeleke and one of the relays might have a great chance on the track. And then if the likes of the golfers, the equestrian show jumping team. I think looking at it, Ireland has about 12 rock solid chances. And I think 8 or 9 of them to be converted into podium places is very realistic. Optimistic, but realistic.
Yeah, so
Gavin Noble, the chef de mission, I interviewed him a couple of months ago. He made an interesting point that basically it comes down to about 9 or 10 moments, could be over 60 seconds or 5 minutes. And that's basically what it'll come down to in the end, And there are very fine margins, as we saw in the rugby last night. So, but yes, I think that the target, the Sport Ireland target, is 6 or 7 medals. So I think the Irish people will be disappointed if they don't bring home that many.
Yeah. So tell us, you were at the boxing draw last night, and so tell us what are the headlines, stuff from that. Aoife O'Rourke didn't get a bye, actually, did she?
Sorry, I didn't hear that.
Sorry, you were at the boxing draw last night, Sean. So what's the kind of headline news from that?
Yeah, so basically the headline news is that there are 7 Irish boxers who are within 2 fights of winning a medal. That's the headline news. If you dig a bit deeper, it's not as simple as that. I mean, there's some have got very difficult draws, like Jude Gallagher, who'll be making his Olympic debut, got a silver medalist, a guy from the Philippines, who was a silver medalist in Tokyo 3 years ago. So that's a very difficult fight. On the other hand, the likes of Grania Walsh, who's making her Olympic debut. She got a European fighter, a Hungarian who she would be expected to win. And Aoife O'Rourke, who is probably our best medal hope, and there's only 16 boxers in women's middleweight.
So she doesn't get a bye.
She doesn't get a bye, but she was seeded.
Yeah.
So that means she didn't draw another seed. In fact, she drew a Polish boxer who she has beaten about 5 times, including actually in the qualifiers for the last Olympics and in 2 European finals. So I'm sure the Polish boxer was disappointed to draw her. So you would be expected her to definitely get to the quarterfinals. Kelly Harrington has a bye because she was seeded. So she's not in action until Monday, and she's fighting either an Italian or a Turkish fighter, and she's beaten both of them in the past. So again, whereas you can't take anything for granted.
Yeah.
And Zor Antion made an interesting point last night. He said there's no easy fights in the Olympics, but you would certainly expect Kelly to make the quarterfinals. So it's a decent draw. It's probably not as easy as it first seemed, but I think it's better than it was in 3 years ago, and we ended up with 2 medals. So we'll see. And the other thing in boxing is you never know the standard of the judging. It varies. It was poor enough in some of the qualifying, particularly in Milan. It improved in Bangkok, so we have to wait and see how that pans out.
Well, you are going to be all over the boxing for the next few weeks. Cathal, the track and field begins in a week's time. You mentioned Rashida Adeleke there. How is she shaping up for this? I mean, she ran her second fastest time of her life just a few weeks ago in the 400 metres in Monaco. She is going to have to run sub 49, isn't she, to be even in with the chance of a medal. And let's just add, she, is still only 21.
Yeah, you forget how young she is, and it's a good reminder. Then again, Ronnie Delaney was 21 when he won Olympic gold back in Melbourne. So if you're good enough, you're old enough. But yeah, I mean, Rashida is shaping up better than ever. She's definitely a better athlete than she was a year ago, and she was a brilliant athlete a year ago, just short of the podium in the world final in Budapest. But the problem is the standard has gone up, and that's happened in the last week at the London Diamond League. Nikisha Price 48.5, and Natalia Kazmarek, I think, was 48.8 with a Polish record. So the bar is very clear. Marilady Paulino as well has run well under 49 seconds this year. So I think it's going to take 48.6, 48.7 to make the podium in Paris. Rashida is capable of that for sure. 49.07 in Rome, that was probably not running the race the way her coach wanted to, and also not easing down, not tapering off her training and freshening up. She will be tapered, she will be fresh for this, and if all has gone right, I'd expect Rashida to go under 49. The unfortunate thing is there's 4 athletes outstanding. They look a cut above the rest. Rashida is one of them, and they're going to be turning for home very close together within a couple of meters, I'd say, with 50 to go between all 4. If things play out as we expect, and someone is going to go home devastated, and all of Ireland will be hoping it's not Rashida.
Yeah, it's making me nervous already, I have to say.
Do you think it's the fact that she didn't, that she wasn't selected 3 years ago? Do you think will that have any impact? That she doesn't have the Olympic experience behind her.
Yeah, I think, that was one of the big arguments I was in favour of sending her, even because especially that final pick for the relay in Tokyo was more than likely not going to be competing, and it would have been such invaluable experience for her to just experience the circus, even if it was the COVID games. But I know Rashida's been to multiple World Championships now, multiple European Championships, multiple NCAA Championships, and multiple underage championships at every level. So I think she's used to this whole circus, the village experience, sharing with other athletes, meeting people from other nations, big stadiums. None of that I think will phase her. I think she's made for this environment.
Yeah. Well, quite a few weeks ahead of us, lads, isn't it? But we will certainly look forward to what those weeks bring. We'll be back again with another video. Talk to you then.